this, they don't rush you. Just the steam rising, the light coming in slow, before the world asks for anything. There's this. Sunlight spills across the countertop, a quiet kind of gold. The kettle hums a sleepy note before the day unfolds. I pour it slow, the color turns like amber catching fire. One small ritual I keep when silence feels this quiet. First coffee of the morning, steam against the cold. No rush, no noise, no warning, just letting go control. First coffee, barely waking, the world can wait outside. Just this cup and this moment where I don't have to hide. Outside the window, city stirs, but I'm still in the hush. A bird calls out, then thinks better, everything in no rush. I wrap my hands around the warmth, a pause before the noise. This little breath of ordinary feels like something I chose. First coffee of the morning, steam against the cold. No rush, no noise, no warning, just letting go control. First coffee, barely waking, the world can wait outside. Just this cup and this moment where I don't have to hide. You know, there's this space between sleep and everything else, where the day hasn't asked for anything yet. And for a few minutes, you just get to be. Some days the fog hangs heavy, some days the light pours in. But this small ceremony is where it all begins. No answers yet, no plans to keep, just presence in a mug. The kind of peace you don't chase down, it finds you if you stop. First coffee of the morning, steam against the cold. No rush, no noise, no warning, just letting go control. First coffee, barely waking, the world can wait outside. Just this cup and this moment where I don't have to hide. Just somewhere between the lines, I get lost on purpose. A stack of books beside the lamp, their spines one soft and thin. I trace the edges, pick one out, and let the world within. The words are ink and memory, a map of someone's mind, and in the quiet I unfold what I was looking to find. Soft pages turning slow, where the silence starts to grow. Every word a little door to somewhere I've been before. Soft pages, nothing loud, just the quiet and the now. Let the hours drift away, I'll find what I need to say. A pencil mark from someone else, a note left in the seam. A stranger's thoughts from years ago, now brushing up against mine. I read the lines out slow sometimes, just to hear them in the air. The way a sentence finds its home when no one else is there. Soft pages turning slow, where the silence starts to grow. Every word a about a book that's already been read. The corners folded down, the spine cracked in just the right places. It's like sitting beside someone who's been where you are and doesn't need you to explain. Some pages I know by heart, some hit me like the first time. A sentence stops me in my tracks and shifts the way the light shines. I close the book but not the thought. It lingers in my chest like something I was meant to find, but didn't know I kept. Soft pages turning slow, where the silence starts to grow. Every word a little door to somewhere I've been before. Soft pages, nothing loud, just the quiet and the now. Let the hours drift away, I'll find what I need to say. I'll stay just a little day. The world decided to slow down today, so I let it. The sky turned gray around noon, a quiet kind of way. The first few drops tapped on the glass like someone at the gate. I didn't move to meet them, just pull the blanket tight. There's something in the sound of rain that makes the dark feel light. Rain on the window pane, washing the day away. Every drop a little pause, a reason to remain. Rain on the window pane, the world can have its noise. I'll sit right here with the atmosphere and let it fill the void. The streetlights glow like watercolors blurred against the glass. Cars go slow, their tires hissing like whispers from the past. I used to run from afternoons that felt this still and deep, but now I've learned to sink into the quiet that I keep. Rain on the window pane, washing the day away. Every drop a little pause, a reason to remain. Rain on the window pane, the world can have its noise. I'll sit right here with the atmosphere and let it fill the void. You know, rain doesn't ask for anything. It just falls, covers everything in the same soft rhythm. The rooftops, the sidewalks, the places we usually rush across. And for a little while, everything moves at its own speed. I count the streaks along the glass, each one a different path. Some go fast and disappear, some linger like a laugh. I wonder if the rain gets tired of falling all the time, or if it finds a kind of peace in letting go. Washing the day away. Every drop a little pause, a reason to remain. Rain on the window pane, the world can have its noise. I'll sit right here with the atmosphere and let it fill the void. unfolded here. Not a cafe in the city, not a park bench in the crowd, not a rooftop looking outward where the world speaks too loud. It's a corner of my own design, where thoughts can stretch and breathe. A place where answers don't arrive, but questions find their peace. A place to think, where the mind can wander free. No need to solve, no need to speak, just space for me to be. A place to think, where the hours lose their name. I let the thoughts come as they please and leave the way they came. Sometimes I sit in silence, watch the dust float through the light. Sometimes I chase a memory that's half wrong and half right. I don't need to name the feeling or unpack what it means. Some thoughts are like the autumn leaves, they settle where they're meant to be. A place to think, where the mind can wander free. No need to solve, no need to speak, just space for me to be. A place to think, where the hours lose their name. I let the thoughts come as they please and leave the way they came. There's a difference between being alone and being with yourself. One is empty, the other is full. When you find a place where the noise stops, you don't realize how loud it was until it's gone. I used to fill the quiet with distractions, with the rush, afraid of what the stillness might uncover if I hushed. But now I sit inside it, like a room I've come to know, where the parts of me that scattered finally have somewhere to go. A place to think, where the mind can wander free. No need to solve, no need to speak, just space for me to be. A place to think, where the hours lose their name. I let the thoughts come as they please and leave the way they came. I'll stay, feel I'm ready to leave. Time does something strange when you stop watching it. Stretches out like honey. The morning came and went, I think. I lost track somewhere after 10. The clock is just a suggestion now, a face I don't look at. My thoughts are drifting like a leaf that doesn't know it's falling, circling in lazy loops, not landing, just suspended. Slow motion thoughts dripping like honey through my hands. I'm not trying to understand, just letting them expand. Slow motion thoughts moving like clouds across the sky. No destination, no goodbye, just floating by. I tried to catch a thought before and pin it to the page, but by the time I found a pen, it drifted off the stage. So now I just observe them like fish inside a stream. Some are bright and darting, some are just a gleam. Slow motion thoughts dripping like honey through my hands. I'm not trying to understand, just letting them expand. Slow motion thoughts moving like clouds across the sky. know that space between awake and asleep, where time doesn't have edges. That's where thoughts go to rest. You don't have to grab them, they'll come back around, or they won't either way. It's okay. An idea starts to form itself, then pulls apart like thread. A memory I thought I knew shows me something else instead. I let it shape, I let it break. I don't hold on too tight. Some thoughts just want to visit, not moving for the night. Slow motion thoughts dripping like honey through my hands. I'm not trying to understand, just letting them expand. Slow motion thoughts moving like clouds across the sky. No destination, no goodbye, just floating by. No rush, they'll still be there when I come back. I set a timer for something. I just can't remember what. A little red light blinking somewhere in the kitchen. I pressed start an hour ago, but I forgot what I was wishing. The tea went cold, the kettle sighed. I got lost inside a page. Now there's a beep I don't recall from a time I didn't gauge. Forgotten time is ticking for things I meant to do. A reminder of the moments that slipped right through. Forgotten time is humming a soft and patient sound, like the day itself is telling me there's no need to keep count. I found a timer from this morning. I set for boiling eggs, but somewhere between the counter and the thoughts inside my head, the water boiled, the timer sang, and then it sang again until it gave up asking, and I never knew when. Forgotten time is ticking for things I meant to do. A reminder of the moments that slipped right through. Forgotten time is humming a soft and patient sound, like the day itself is telling me there's no need to keep count. You ever notice how timers are always asking something of you? It's ready, it's done, time's up. But some days you just let them beep, and the world doesn't end. The eggs get cold, the tea goes stale, and somehow that's okay. I've got alarms I set for work, for meetings, for the train, for all the things I promised I'd remember and contain. But the timers I forget the most are the ones I set for me. The pause, the rest, the moment where I just let myself be. Forgotten time is ticking for things I meant to do. A reminder of the moments that slipped right through. Forgotten time is humming a soft and patient sound, like the day itself is telling me there's no need to keep count. I'll get it eventually. a door. I just have to choose which one to open. I run my fingers down the row of colors worn and faded. Some I've read 100 times, some I've never tasted. There's a world inside each binding, a life I haven't lived, a map of someone's memory that I'm allowed to borrow. Bookshelf daydream, taking me away through the fiction and the memories of words I didn't say. Bookshelf daydream, where the hours disappear. I'm somewhere in the pages now, I've been looking for me here. There's a novel I abandoned halfway through last year. A character I couldn't face because she hit too near. Now I pull it from the shelf and let it fall open to the chapter where she stopped pretending and started hoping. Bookshelf daydream, taking me away through the fiction and the memories of words I didn't say. Bookshelf daydream, where the hours disappear. I'm somewhere in the pages now, I've been looking for me here. I used to think books were escapes, places to go when here wasn't enough. But somewhere along the way, I started finding pieces of myself between the lines. Things I forgot I knew, things I didn't know I was carrying. And now, the bookshelf feels less like a door out, and more like a door in. A poetry collection with a corner folded down, from a night I couldn't sleep in a different part of town. I read the line I marked that night and feel the ghost of who I was, the person searching for the words to say what the silence does. Bookshelf daydream, taking me away through the fiction and the memories of words I didn't say. Bookshelf daydream, where the hours disappear. I'm somewhere in the pages now, I've been looking for me here. I'll stay here. Just a few more chapters. Nothing's perfect the first time. That's why pencils have erasers. A fresh page staring back at me, so white it almost glows. I put the pencil to the paper and let the hesitation go. The lines are shaky at the start, a nervous kind of dance. But somewhere in the movement, I forget about the chance of getting it exactly right, of making every stroke the masterpiece I pictured before the pencil broke. Pencil lines and fading marks, the beauty of the try. Every smudge and every scratch, a witness to the why. Pencil lines and second drafts, the courage to begin. I'll trace the shape of what I mean and let the rest wear thin. I drew a tree when I was young, with branches all askew. My mother kept it on the fridge, like something no one knew. I drew it with my heart, and not just with my aim. Pencil lines and faded marks, the beauty of the try. Every smudge and every scratch, a witness to the right. Pencil lines and second drafts, the courage to begin. I'll trace the shape of what I mean, and let the rest wear thin. I used to hate the mistakes, the smudges, the lines that went the wrong way, but now I see them as the path, the proof that I was here trying. You can't erase the trying, and honestly, you shouldn't want to. I write a line, I cross it out, I write it once again. The meaning shifts with every try, until it feels like skin. Not polished, not perfected, just honest and alive. A version of the truth I couldn't reach without the tries. Pencil lines and fading marks, the beauty of the try. Every smudge and every scratch, a witness to the why. Pencil lines and second drafts, the courage to begin. I'll trace the shape of what I need, and let the rest wear thin. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be mine. A million lives out there, and from here, it all looks quiet. The city stretches out below, a map of light and sound. I'm tucked behind the window pane where nothing comes around. The taxis trace the yellow paths, the streetlights blinking cold. A symphony of movement that I don't have to hold. City through the glass, a world I watch but don't touch. Close enough to feel alive, far enough to not rush. City through the glass, the hum becomes a song. I'm in it but apart from it, where I belong. There's a couple on the corner arguing in the rain. A jogger with headphones on, running through the pain. A window lit 3 floors below, where someone's working late. 1,000 stories happening outside my quiet state. City through the glass, a world I watch but don't touch. Close enough to feel alive, far enough to not rush. City through the glass, the hum becomes a song. I'm in it but apart from it, where I belong. Sometimes I wonder about the people in those other windows. Are they watching too? Do they see the same city I see? Or does everyone get their own version, their own map of lights and shadows, viewed from wherever they're standing? I used to think I had to be in the middle of the noise to feel like I was living, to hear my own voice. But now I find the distance gives a different kind of view. I see the shape of everything and still feel part of it too. City through the glass, a world I watch but don't touch. Close enough to feel alive, far enough to not rush. City through the glass, the hum becomes a song. I'm in it but apart from it, where I belong. here both at once. These have been with me through everything. The phone is falling apart, but so am I sometimes. The phone is cracked, the cord is frayed, the left side cuts sometimes. But when I put them on, the world becomes a softer kind. I've had them for 100 nights of walking home alone, 1,000 mornings waking up before the day had shone. Worn out headphones on my head, a filter for the noise. They turn the city into static and give me back my voice. Worn out headphones, faded sound, a comfort I can trust. They don't need to be perfect, they just need to hold what must. Watching the world blur past. These headphones, they're not just headphones anymore. They're a diary. They shield a friend. Sometimes the music cuts out and I sit in the quiet. Just the sound of my own breath and the hum of the refrigerator. It's in those moments I remember the headphones aren't the point. They're just a way of telling me it's okay to anoint the ordinary minutes with a soundtrack of my choosing, to make the mundane magic and stop the world from losing. Worn out headphones on my head, a filter for the noise. They turn the city into static and give me back my voice. Worn out headphones, faded sound, a comfort I can trust. They don't need to be perfect, they just need to hold what must. But something's still playing. The stairs creak like they remember every footstep that came before. The air is thick with dust and time and things left to ignore. A box of records in the corner, a lamp with no shade, a radio that no one turned off, still humming in the fade. Static in the attic, a signal from some somewhere, a voice I almost recognize, dissolving in the air, static in the attic, a frequency of ghosts, the things we left behind up here still matter more than most. Still matter more than most. I found a photograph up here, the colors fading fast, a family I used to be, a moment that didn't last. I held it up to the light and watched the edges curl like the static on the radio that once held the world. Static in the attic, a signal from somewhere, a voice I almost recognized, dissolving in the air. Static in the attic, a frequency of ghosts, the things we left behind up here still matter more than most. My grandfather used to sit up here for hours, twisting the dial, searching for something. He said the static was just a conversation waiting to happen, a voice from somewhere else, a reminder that the world was bigger than this room. When he passed, the radio stayed on, and sometimes, I swear I still hear him turning the dial. I sit in the chair he left behind, twist the dial myself, searching for the frequency that holds what I can't tell. Sometimes I hear a melody that sounds like my own name. Sometimes it's just the silence that says it all the same. Static in the attic, a signal from somewhere, a voice I almost recognize, dissolving in the air. Static in the attic, a frequency of ghosts, the things we left behind up here still matter more than most. Still playing, still waiting, still waiting, still waiting. The world went to sleep hours ago, but this is when I wake up. The clock says it's past midnight, but time moves different here. The hours stretch like rubber bands and pull me toward the clear. No notifications, no demands, no voice asking for more. Just me and the work in front of me and a slightly open door. Late night focus, where the silence sharpens thought. Every distraction falls away till I find what I was looking for. Late night focus, the world can wait till dawn. I'm in the zone and on my own, right where I belong. There's a rhythm to the quiet, a cadence I can keep. My thoughts don't fight each other now, they fall in line and leap. From one idea to the next, a current I can ride. The things that felt impossible now open up inside. Night focus, where the silence sharpens thought. Every distraction falls away till I find what I was looking for. Night focus, the world can't wait till dawn. I'm in the zone and on my own, right where I belong. There's something about this hour no other time has. The rest of the world is dreaming, and I'm here Awake, building, solving, creating. It's not loneliness, it's solitude. A room of my own where the only voice I have to answer to is my own. I used to think productivity meant doing it all by noon, but now I've learned the night shift has its own kind of mood. The spotlight on the desk, a tunnel of soft light, where everything that needs to be comes into focus, right? Late night focus, where the silence sharpens thought, every distraction falls away. I found what I was looking for. Late night against the world, can't wait till dawn. I'm in the zone and on my own, right where I One more thing, then sleep. Listen, the room remembers everything. The walls have heard my laughter, and the silence after tears. They've held the weight of conversations I repeated over years. The floorboards know my pacing when I couldn't find the words. The window watched me staring out when everything felt blurred. Echoes of a quiet room, the things I didn't say, bouncing off the corners till they slowly fade away. Echoes of a quiet room, a witness to the now, the space I fill with who I am and who I don't know how. I remember rearranging every piece to make it fit, trying to arrange the outside till the inside made sense of it. But the room just stood there patient, didn't argue, didn't plead, just offered up its silence for whatever I might need. Echoes of a quiet room, the things I didn't say, bouncing off the corners till they slowly fade away. Echoes of a quiet room, a witness to the now, the space I fill with who I am and who I don't know how. They say walls don't listen, but I think they do. Not with ears, with presence. Every room I've ever lived in has held something for me. The breakdowns, the breakthroughs, the mornings I didn't want to face, the nights I didn't want to end. And when I leave, a piece of me stays in the corners, and a piece of the room comes with me. I've lived in houses, apartments, rooms that came and went. Some felt like borrowed spaces, some felt like they were meant. But this one now is different. It's the first I've made my own, where the echoes I've been collecting finally have a home. Echoes of a quiet room, the things I didn't say, bouncing off the corners till they slowly fade away. Echoes of a quiet room, a witness to the now, the space I fill with who I am and who I'm learning how. This room knows me and stays anyway. calls, no questions. No one needing anything. Just this. The phone is face down on the desk. Notifications turn to gray. The world outside can wait its turn. I'm stealing back the day. No knock upon the door. No buzz upon the screen. Just the sound of my own breathing and the space between. No interruptions, just the quiet and the light. No one asking for a piece of me. No schedule I must write. No interruptions, the hours stretch and bloom. I'm finally where I need to be, in my own room. I used to feel guilty for the moments I would take, afraid that if I stopped too long, the world would start to break. But now I understand that the world will be just fine, and I can't give what's empty, so I fill this cup of mine. No interruptions, just the quiet and the light. No one asking for a piece of me. No schedule I must write. No interruptions, the hours stretch and bloom. I'm finally where I need to be, in my own room. There's a myth that productivity means always being available, that stopping is falling behind. But I've learned that some of the most important work I do is the work of being still. No interruption isn't running away. It's coming home to myself. The sun moves across the floor in a slow and silent crawl. I watch it like a movie with no plot and no script at all. And in this space of nothing, I find everything I need. The thoughts I couldn't hear before now quietly succeed. No interruptions, just the quiet and the light. No one asking for a piece of me. No schedule I must write. No interruptions, the hours stretch and bloom. I'm finally where I need to be, in my own room. No interruptions, and nothing missing. Sound of fingers hovering over a keyboard. A single key pressed. None of a ding. Sound of a deep breath. Yeah, that's what I'm loving. Words are waiting. I just have to let them out. My fingers find the home row like a habit I can trust. The cursor blinks like a heartbeat in the silence before the rush. A sentence starts to form itself. A thread I start to pull. The keys begin their ticking like the room is getting full. Ticking keys and racing thoughts. The sound of something born. Every click a little spark that lights up what was formless. Ticking keys and finding flow. The world begins to fade. I'm somewhere in the current now where everything is made. Sometimes the words it's just showing up. Fingers on the keys, one word after another. Most of it won't survive, but some of it will. And you never know which line is the one that changes everything. So you keep typing, tick, tick, tick. I look back at the words I've written. Some feel like strangers now, like someone else was sitting here and I don't know how. But that's the gift of ticking keys, they capture who I was. A map of all the versions that I'm learning how to love. Ticking keys and racing thoughts, the sound of something born. Every click a little spark that lights up what was formless. Ticking keys and finding flow. The world begins to fade. I'm somewhere in the current now where everything is made. Tick, tick, there it is. 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 There's a little shadow that shows up every afternoon, waiting for nothing in particular. She shows up around 3 o'clock, when the sun shifts to the west. A patch of orange on the stoop, where she comes to rest. Her fur is gray and dusty, with a notch missing from her ear. She doesn't ask for anything, she just likes to be near. Stray cat outside, with your quiet, patient way. You don't need a reason to stay another day. Stray cat outside, watching the world go by. You remind me that some things don't need a reason why. I left some food out once or twice. She ate it slow and then she looked at me like she was saying, I'll be back again. And she was true to her word. Every afternoon she comes. Sometimes she sleeps, sometimes she stares, sometimes she just sits among the leaves that blow across the steppe, the shadows that grow long. She's got a whole world out there, but here's where she belongs. Stray cat outside, with your quiet, patient way. You don't need a reason to stay another day. Stray cat outside, watching the world go by. You remind me that some things don't need a reason why. I don't know where she came from or where she goes at night, but every afternoon she's there. And somehow that consistency, that small living presence, makes the day feel less empty. She doesn't need me to take her in. She just needs me to notice she's here. And maybe that's enough for both of us. I used to think that belonging meant walls and a key and a name, but now I watch this little cat and see a different frame. She belongs to the afternoon, to the stoop and the fading light, to the quiet space between us that doesn't need to be defined. Stray cat outside, with your quiet, patient way. You don't need a reason to stay another day. Stray cat outside, watching the world go by. You remind from our little friend. The afternoon has that heavy warmth, the kind that makes you forget what day it is. The sunlight moves across the floor like honey poured too slow. I'm lying on the couch right now with nowhere I need to go. The ceiling has a crack in it. I've stared at it before, but today it looks like something new, a map of some far shore. Drowsy afternoon, where the hours lose their shape. I'm drifting somewhere in between the waking and the wake. Drowsy afternoon, the world is soft and blurred. I let the quiet hold me without another word. I meant to read a chapter, but the page is still the same. I think I read the same line twice or maybe 3 times. Wait, the letters blur into a haze, the words become the light. I close the book and close my eyes and let go of the fight. Drowsy afternoon, where the hours lose their shape. I'm drifting somewhere in between the waking and the wake. Drowsy afternoon, the world is soft and blurred. I let the quiet hold me without another word. There's something honest about this hour, when the day has lost its urgency, when the only thing asked of you is to be here to breathe, to let the sunlight do its slow work across the floor. The afternoon doesn't want anything from you in that. That might be the greatest gift it gives. I feel my thoughts begin to slip like water through a sieve. A memory, a dream, a thought of what I might forgive. None of it is urgent, none of it needs me now. I'll need it when I wake again. For now, I'll let it go somehow. Drowsy afternoon, where the hours lose their shape. I'm drifting somewhere in between the waking and the wake. Drowsy afternoon, the world is soft and blurred. I let the quiet hold me without another word. There's some for remnants. I wrote these words years ago. The ink is fading, but the feeling isn't. I found an old notebook today, tucked behind some books. The pages yellowed at the edges like a memory that overlooks the details that were painful and keeps the ones that shine. A version of myself I barely recognize as mine. Fading ink on yellow pages, words I wrote so long ago. The handwriting has changed now, but the heart still seems to know. Fading ink and fading memories, what stays and what falls away. Some things get clearer with the years, some things just fade to gray. There's a letter I wrote to someone I never had the courage like visiting a younger version of yourself. Someone who didn't know what was coming. Someone who felt everything so loudly. And now, looking back, I want to tell them, it's okay. The ink fades, the edges soften. Somehow, so do you. I close the notebook carefully and put it back in place. Not because I'm hiding, but to give it space. The words don't need my reading now. They've done what they were for. They hold the version I was then, and the door I walk through. Fading ink on yellowed pages, words I wrote so long ago. The handwriting has changed now, but the heart still seems to know. Fading ink and fading memories. What stays and what falls away. Some things get clearer with the years. Some things just fade to gray. Still here, just softer now. The music isn't in the notes. It's in what happens after. A melody begins to form, then falls away to rest. The space between the notes becomes a different kind of guest. It doesn't ask for anything, it doesn't need to fill. The silence holds a quiet weight that time can't seem to still. Stillness between notes where the sound goes to breathe. A pause that holds more meaning than the words we try to leave. Stillness between notes, a canvas for the soul. Sometimes what we don't play is what makes us whole. I used to fill the quiet with noise I didn't need. Afraid of what the silence might reveal or make me heed. But now I sit inside it like a room I've learned to love, where the echoes of the day find peace and rise above. Stillness between notes where the sound goes to breathe. A pause that holds more meaning than the words we try to leave. Stillness between notes, a canvas for the soul. Sometimes what we don't play is what makes us whole. A composer once told me that the silence is where the listener arrives. The notes are just the invitation, but the stillness, the space between, that's where the music actually lives, where you meet it, where it becomes yours. I think life is like that too. The moments between the doing, the breaths between the words, that's where we actually are. A bird outside the window sings and then it stops. The silence that comes after is a different kind of drop. Not emptiness but fullness, a pause that holds its own. A reminder that not everything needs to be known. Stillness between notes where the sound goes to breathe. A pause that holds more meaning than the words we try to leave. Stillness between notes, a canvas for the soul. Sometimes what we don't play is what makes us whole. comes back to this. The last track of the album plays, the needle rises slow. The sun is painting everything in shades of amber glow. Another day has come and gone, another night is past, and somehow in the quiet I've arrived here at last. Morning again tomorrow, the light will find its way through the curtains, through the doubt to greet another day. Morning again tomorrow, a promise soft and true. No matter what today has been, the dawn begins anew. I think about the tracks we've walked through this album space, the coffee and the quiet thoughts, the rain upon the face, the pencils and the headphones worn, the stray cat on the stoop, the stillness between every note that taught me how to stoop, not in defeat, but reverence for what the quiet brings, the way a day can break you and then teach you how to sing. Morning again tomorrow, the light will find its way through the curtains, through the doubt to greet another day. Morning again tomorrow, a promise soft and true. No matter what today has been, the dawn begins anew. I started this album not knowing what I was looking for. A place to think, a way to slow down, permission to just be. And somewhere between the first coffee and the fading ink I found it. Not in the answers, but in the asking. Not in the doing, but in the being. And now, as the sun rises on the last track, I realize it was never about the destination. It was always about the morning, and the next one, and the one after that. So I'll close this notebook now and set the pencil down, but I'll carry all these moments into the next town. The foggy mornings, quiet rooms, the pages